Morning. Morning. I want to thank all the members of the strike team who conducted the sweep last night. Deputy Chief Nolan, Commander Rankin.
Thank you, sir.
Morning, Commander Gray.
Morning.
So the watering hole that we hit last night was in your district, and I've been looking over the performance indicators and crime data, and I don't like what I'm seeing here. What's going on out there?
Chief, the 9th is notorious for gang activity. It's a block-by-block situation. Now, they got dozens of crews running down there. I don't want to say that we're losing the battle, but...
Yeah, I hope not. Mind if we take a look?
Okay.
Ferris, would you put up the stats, please? Okay. 39 sexual assaults in the past 4 months. 36 robberies. 6 murders. 50... Okay. Is that right? 52 auto thefts. 5 missing persons reports, none of which you bothered to classify as homicide. In fact, Commander, the 9th has the highest crime activity of all the districts. Yeah. Why? Or, better yet, now, why should I be happy with this?
Well, those statistics don't tell the whole story.
Okay. What aren't these dots telling me?
They don't tell you about the efforts that my men and women are making in the area of community outreach, of gang relation, of conflict resolution, and levels of patrol, et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, et cetera. How the hell am I going to Comstat, et cetera, et cetera?
That's exactly my point.
Joe, why don't you tell the commander what we found in his district last night?
Guns, knives, needles, heroin, crack, marijuana, over $30,000 in cash, 24 arrests, 7 of whom are known bail jumpers and fugitives.
So you got criminals running your district down there, Commander? Drug dealers, gangbangers? They're setting your agenda, not you. Now that is something I will not tolerate.
Chief, you don't come in here and undo years of delicate police strategies and expect results overnight. Now, I am not some lackey looking to do donuts and waiting for my pension. I have a plan. And if you give me a chance, I will make it...
Let me hear that plan.
I know these people. I grew up here, you didn't. I know them by name. I know their families. I know who they hang with. I know who they want to be. You control the information. You understand the allegiances. You work with them to police their communities, not against them. Or you create a war, civil war, brother against brother. You break families down. Then you create a bigger problem than you started with.
Where the hell you been for a year and a half? That's what I do, is undo ineffective policing strategies. I don't turn over the streets of this city to drug dealers and hoods. We're here to enforce the law. Now, you do it my way. And do it when I want it and how I want it done. Or... Richard Gray, third-generation cop. 83 single-handedly foils a bank robbery, takes down 4 suspects.
Took home 2 slugs, back at work a month later.
So why do I have to keep sitting down with this guy?
Maybe that's the problem.
No. The problem is that Commander Gray's become a politician.
Chief, you say politician like... Politician is not necessarily a dirty word. Gray is highly decorated, respected, a leader. He may feel you're talking down to him.
Oh, gosh. Now I've hurt his feeling.
You might do better trying to recruit him instead of breaking him.
After a year and a half, Joe, I am not feeling optimistic.
Chief Mannion, it is not part of your nature to be patient. But please, be patient with this guy. He's on our side.
You're standing up for him?
Right.
Ella? All right. Gotta respect that.
Commander Gray is here to see you, sir.
Send him in.
As one more thing, the FIT report on Officer Paris, they're recommending the incident with the broken nightstick be examined by a review board.
Due process. Let's not draw it out, huh?
All right, I can schedule a review this afternoon.
Good.
Commander? Deputy Chief. Your assessments, sir, of my efforts are unfair.
Numbers speak for themselves, Commander.
I would hope that those dots and graphs are not the only measure of an officer's worth.
CompStat is a tool for solving crime. It doesn't measure an officer's capabilities. I do that. Oh, you seem to have a problem with that system.
Well, I just don't buy that your way is the only way. A year from now, when you're gone, what the rest of us are left with...
Says I'm going anywhere.
Please. Your reputation precedes you.
Then you'll be left, if I go, with a system of fighting crime that works, and not just because the homicide rates go down.
CompStat can't chart the gratitude expressed by the residents in my district. It also can't chart the feeling of safety that brings children back out onto the stoops and the sidewalks. Systems and statistics didn't do that. My officers did that, and I did that, standing shoulder to shoulder with them each and every day.
Did you pay for that speech, or did you write it yourself? I know what you're doing, Commander. You're going down there, you're hanging out with all the right people, getting your picture taken in all the right places. You kiss all the right asses. You know what politics is? Politics is compromise. And that doesn't work in fighting crime.
Politics is a way of life. We're not above it. You're not above it, no matter what you say.
Okay. Yeah, well, you can talk to the mayor and tell him that. Meantime, you work for me, or until you don't.
Evans, Tedesco is with you on his place.
All right.
Now, if he doesn't show up by tomorrow night, then we just move on and we wait for him to resurface. Sergeant Rawlings, you're going to be running the stop and drop at the watering hole over at 10th and Tracy.
Got it.
Detectives Campos and Honig
Sure.
set up a makeshift booking station at that usual spot, the parking garage on Calvin.
Excuse me.
Chief Mannion.
So you're still going after the buyers, not the sellers, huh?
Sir, in the war on drugs, well, at least in my district, there's no better deterrent than the threat of getting busted for buying crank and having to call Mommy and Daddy to come and bail you out.
If you went after the sellers, there wouldn't be any buyers.
No, there'd be a turf war. Homicides would triple.
Really? So you're still on this homicide thing?
Chief, I'm trying to conduct a roll call here.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, I know. So listen, you get back to me on that, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, I'm just trying to help, Commander.
By micromanaging, I don't work that way.
Well, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how the hell you do work.
Chief, I am not the step aside, say nothing type. I am not Joe Nolan. Now, I suggest we take this in here and talk privately.
No need. You're done. That was your last roll call, Commander.
So, what are my chances with this trial board? Or am I subject to more humiliation?
Would you relax and look at the evidence and make a decision?
Evidence? What, whether I'm a good cop? Or whether I'm a good cop under Mannion's twisted terms?
Let's get one thing straight, Richard. You insult Chief Mannion, you insult me. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to make that mistake again, just because we're friends.
Okay. Fair enough. You surprised me, Joe. I expect you to fight for what's rightfully yours. What, suddenly you don't want to be chief anymore?
Brutus stabbed Caesar in the back, yet he never ascended to be emperor.
Whether you like what I'm doing or not, you know I don't deserve this. And I certainly don't deserve to be fired. You gotta help me fight this, Joe. Now, you know 11 guys on that board. Don't let Mannion pressure them.
It'll be a fair vote.
No, you gotta talk to them. They trust you. I trust you.
Thank you, Dick.
Okay.
Hey, Chief.
Captain.
The process worked the way it was supposed to. No hard feelings?
Oh, what process are you speaking to now, Captain? The process that keeps me from building the kind of department this city needs? Or are you speaking to the process of harassment and receiving at the hands of your friend?
You're still throwing stones.
Well, you're not off my radar screen, Captain.
Chief, my resignation. Effective immediately. See what that does to your radar screen.
Not even a blip.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Come in.
I wonder if I could have a moment, Chief?
Please. Have a seat, Sergeant.
John Ellis. I'd prefer to stand if it's okay. I'll say my piece and leave, Chief. I've served with a lot of fine men since I joined the MPD. Commander Gray sat at the top of that list.
That hasn't been my experience, Sergeant.
The department has been diminished by his loss. And I think stained how it came about.
Commander Gray resigned. He chose to leave.
I'd rather follow a man I've been loyal to and who's been loyal to me than trust my career to a man who, to be frank, sir, is constantly on the lookout for a new war zone to play in.
Sergeant,
Yes, sir?
I'll have that sidearm. Anyone here want to change their mind, you're welcome. Rest of you, put your badges and your weapons on the desk.